What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'd like to share my top 5 favorite third-party apps and plugins for a jailbroken PlayStation Vita. So without further ado, let's get to it. First up is a combination of the VitaBrite and No Power Limits plugin. VitaBrite adds extra levels to the brightness slider, letting you crank the brightness up way higher or lower than you originally could on a stock PS Vita. It also has a flux-like blue light reduction mode at the far left-hand side of the slider. Now, usually the Vita won't let you use full brightness in more demanding games, like Need for Speed here, but No Power Limits removes that limitation and lets you use the full brightness at all times anywhere on the Vita. This will decrease battery life, but the trade-off is worth it in my opinion. The second is the PSVShell plugin. This is a simple on-screen overclocking tool that lets you manually adjust the clock speed of the Vita. For demanding games, you can crank it all the way up to 500 MHz on the CPU and 220 MHz on the GPU for a bump in performance, or you can dial it back in less demanding games for better battery life. In games like Borderlands or Minecraft, that slight bump in clock speed is a big help in boosting frame rates. You also have the option of displaying an on-screen system monitor in the top left corner. Next up is Adrenaline. This is a third-party app that lets you run the entire PSP operating system through the Vita's native PSP emulator. This literally turns your PS Vita into a PSP. You can play games, change themes, and do almost anything else you could with a PSP. Fourth up on the list is AutoPlugin. Installing plugins on the Vita can be a hassle, so I let the third-party AutoPlugin app handle that all for me. It's super simple to use and lets you install plugins for both the PS Vita and the PSP through the Adrenaline emulator. I've never had a problem with it, and it makes installing plugins on the Vita push-button simple. Last, but definitely not least, is TubeVita. As you might guess from the name, this is a third-party YouTube client for the PlayStation Vita. I don't watch YouTube on the Vita very often, but this app is super nice to have for when I do. It looks the same as YouTube through the browser, but when you open a video, it plays in 720p rather than 360p for a nice and very noticeable bump in quality. While that's all for this video, keep in mind I have barely scratched the surface. There are dozens, if not hundreds, of plugins available for the Vita, letting you do anything from using it as a USB gamepad to streaming video over USB, which all contribute to making this the best time there has ever been to own a PlayStation Vita. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, hit like, get subscribed, and ring the bell so you get notified when I post new videos, and I will see you guys in the next one.